How's it going, guys? Today we got a new update. So that's 1.11, and let's see what we got here. So first, it's gonna be down for like 9 hours or something. So the first thing is the solstice event, which is basically like Christmas event. We're not gonna talk about this too much now, but just so you know, it's gonna be released today until January, until 9th of January. So that's cool. You get a bunch of cool stuff, I think. But yeah, we're not gonna talk about this too much. So we got Archboss additional spawns for Belandir and Tevent, but that's basically the two Archbosses anyway. So that's for limited duration anyway, for the same duration of the Christmas event. We're gonna get one more spawn for these bosses. I think it's a conflict one from what I can see, because we got peace anyway. So just so you know, if you're into those kind of things. Then we got a lot of cool stuff for cooking, by the way. Now it's probably the best time to start cooking and fishing down the line. We'll see that as well. So basically, now you can get cooking contracts from the contract manager, which from what I see, I assume it's basically cook some type of food and complete the contract. I'm not sure. So we'll see. Then we got food items has been reduced by the consolidation of food quality levels. So in a way, from what I see, but we'll check that later anyway. And it's actually written down here. So general dishes are now crafted as uncommon grade, banquet and dungeon ingredient food as rare grade, and elixirs come in rare and uncommon grade, depending on materials used. We continue with that as well. The quality of materials used now determines the quantity of meals received. So now, rare materials consume 1 ingredient and produce 3 complete meals. Uncommon materials consume 3 ingredients and produce 2 complete meals. And common materials consume 5 ingredients and produce 1 complete meal. So from what I see before that, we had like chances, things like that. So if you use higher rarity ingredient, you have higher percent chance to produce rare meal. Now instead, they actually just give you higher quantity. That's what I understand, but I might be wrong, so we'll check that later. So another interesting thing, ingredient gathering and drop rates have been adjusted because of the changes as well. And that also reflects the quantity you will produce through cooking. So we'll see how that works. They just say adjusted, it might be increased, might be lowered, who knows. I mean, I'm okay with the quantity so far, but we'll see. So previously obtained high-tier ingredients intended for use in Banquet can be exchanged for updated rare ingredients through the Dissolve system. We'll see about that, if it's decent or not. Now, all recipes can now be crafted at cooking ovens and campfires. So that's a good thing. You can just do it on the road, because there's quite a few campfires outside, but not that many ovens. Ovens are only found, as far as I know, only in capital cities. But that's it for cooking. There is also for fishing, but we're going to get to that later. So dungeon matchmaking. Now this is a great thing. A lot of people have been looking for something like that. So now you have cooldown time for whenever you cancel dungeon matchmaking, whenever you reject, you're gonna have a penalty. So the cooldown prevents you from queuing for another dungeon immediately, which people are actually doing now, and it's pretty annoying. Now the timer would start from 10 minutes. I think I read somewhere that it goes all the way to 1 hour, so you don't want to be rejecting them. As this is actually very good, so people are not going to do this annoying thing. There is only one small problem, but I would say that for most people it's not going to be a problem. But let's say you're looking for a very specific dungeon. Sure, you can just matchmake for this dungeon, but you lose the random reward. Now, the random dungeon reward is actually super good. You really want to do this, but then it's kind of a trade-off, so we'll see about that. I mean, at the very least, we're not going to have these constant rejects. Then we continue down the road. General updates. So field and arch bosses increase the drop rates of rare and epic gear from these encounters. That's great, because actually I've farmed them for like a week. I did an experiment and I literally got no epic drop from any of these bosses. I think I did almost all the timers. So we got like around 40 bosses in a week. So I just missed a few of them. But anyway, literally no epic drop. And I don't even remember if I got some of that as well. Probably maybe just a few. It was all just the guaranteed chests, which actually didn't give anything else except the guaranteed rewards anyway. So that alone is probably good. But again, we don't see exact rates. So we'll see. So for PvP, reduce the duration of respawn protection granted after entering conflict areas. So anyway, anybody that's doing the PvP, that's relevant to them. But I'm not really into this yet, so I can't really say much about that. To be honest, I have no experience, so keep that in mind. Automatic logout time for AFK characters has now been increased to 3 hours. I don't know how much it was, but I do remember sometimes I get just randomly locked out. Even if I'm just in a menu, which is pretty annoying. I don't know if they changed anything about that. But if I'm just in a menu and just clicking things, because my character is not moving, I also got logged out. But now it's at least 3 hours, so even if you're doing a build, 3 hours is quite a long time, so that should be great. Weekly reset for arenas has been adjusted for the maintenance time. That's a normal thing. Purification stone usable in arenas, so the upgraded stones. There's probably some bug with that, I guess, but I haven't done any arenas, so I can't really tell you much about it. They added runes to the arena vendors, so now I have even more incentive to do arenas as well, because runes are quite difficult to obtain anyway. They lowered the amount of trials, the dimensional trials needed for weekly missions. So far it was 10 for tier 2 and 15 trials for tier 3, which you do need if you want to get a lot of runes from these boxes specifically. Before it was just dimensional dungeons, now it's trials as well. So I think now I don't remember how much it was. It doesn't say here, but I think I saw somewhere it's like maybe it's 5 and 10, but I might be lying to you. So, but it's generally just lowered anyway, so that's great. Gigantrades adjusted the road of Gigantrades that's going between Stone Gardens or Dome Island. I don't know what that would do. It's probably just for make it a bit easier to get to the waypoint, but I don't know about that. Fishing, there it is. So we got new fishing hotspots. Actually, they will appear in bodies of water around the world. That's probably some extra drop rate there or something. I'm not quite sure how that would apply. It's basically just flavor text anyway, but we'll see. It's probably decent. So that's a good time for both fishing and cooking at the same time. And they're actually complementing each other, so that's great. And they expand the fishing codex to find, there'll probably be new fish as well and new reward here. I think there's something with the Christmas event as well. Then we have war games here. Again, that's basically just for PvP. I haven't done any of that, so I can't really have any feedback on this, but they had a team chat during matches. So player icons will now show on minimap, and there are a couple of other small things. Now, party matchmaking, that's for the dungeons. When you queue for random matchmaking, now you're going to get 4 soul shards selection box instead of soul shards specific to the dungeon, right? So we used to get the extra chest that can give you selection box. Now you just get these 4 shards. I think you still get the selection chest, but I'm not sure. Maybe just the 4 shards. I might be a bit wrong about that, but we'll see when we get in. So combat, we're looking at the new stat Fortitude. I haven't really tested anything with this stat, so I can't really say much about that either. So apparently there was some issue that the effect will not increase when you increase your stat value. I can't really say. I haven't really did anything with Fortitude. Another really cool update is for Butcher's Canyon and Valley of Slaughter. So you have these mini bosses that require coordinated crowd control across multiple targets. You used to need to CC both of them and then damage either one of them and then do it again if they survive or if the other one survives. And for Butcher's Canyon you have 2 of them, and Valley of Slaughter you actually have 3 of them, and that was quite annoying. You have to actually have part of your build has to be related to crowd control. Now this has been adjusted, and you only need to apply the stun individually, which I assume you don't have to stun both of them, just stun one of them and queue it. And also when it has been affected by the stun, it will no longer go invulnerable. So it's going to be way easier and way less annoying as well, which is it's so cool. And there are a couple of general things here, but they're not like super crazy. So that's it for today. Basically, that was it's pretty good. You got a pretty cool stuff going on, the Christmas event, and it is indeed probably the best time to start doing fishing and cooking. Just jump right into it. That sounds awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and see you next time.